What's up, everybody? I'm Loz Taylor from While She Sleeps, and you're watching Loud TV.
I saw you got a live Q&A with the other guys.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because it was a fucking mess.
Yeah. Hey, that doesn't sound like us.
Was it a good team building situation for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. You mean like the live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm terrible with technology, as we've just witnessed me trying to get on this call. Like, for some reason, things just don't work out with me and technology. So things like that are always just sort of go over my head. So yeah, I'm always just sat back being like, well, I don't know why it's not working, you know? So yeah, always a bit freaked out by technology. It doesn't seem to work for me.
What about this English invasion? You know, the English bands like Architect that is out today.
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon, which
Yeah.
was one of my favorite CD last year, and now yours it's out next month. I think it's
April the 16th.
Yeah. So wonderful. You know, some really good bands from the UK. It's a great thing.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I think that in the UK it's pretty grey, and we get shut up inside quite a lot, and I think that just fuels some sort of angry rock music. I think that, yeah, I think there's just something in the water over here, and hopefully, yeah, we continue to churn out cool bands.
Yeah, because is it because of the Brexit?
Definitely, that's really annoying a lot of us. Yeah, so it's definitely fueling the hardcore elements of our metal.
So, what about the recording of this new album? Was it quite do-it-yourself process?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, While She Sleeps has always been a very sort of hands-on punk. The ethic of our band is very much DIY punk rock.
Yeah.
And it's something we've always strived towards. I think that, you know, nobody knows your band better than you. So, you know, the more hands-on that you can be with your own sort of sound, your own artwork, the running of the band, is the better, really. And, you know, this album is no different for us in that respect. You know, we're more independent now than we ever have been. And yeah, you know, like, we're still trying to keep the band as independent as possible, and as current as possible, as interesting and entertaining as possible. Hopefully those things are working. But yeah, for us, the whole DIY punk rock ethic is what's important to us, and I think that comes from the early sort of post-hardcore days where the old school in us wants to do it ourselves, and sort of keep this way of working alive for young and up and coming bands.
Yeah. What about also this platform that you have launched for fans, didn't you?
Yeah. Sleep Society. Yeah. Basically, what we're trying to address with that is how we feel that you know, the streaming world and the way that music is bought and received nowadays is all done down. It's all streamed. So the main thing for us is trying to get the message out there that the way that they sort of divvy up the percentages is it always ends up going to your Ed Sheerans and your Justin Biebers. And I think that, you know, what we're seeing is bands sort of openly speak up about this, take a bit of a role as to, you know, why this is happening. And I think what we're seeing now is a lot of companies such as like Spotify and Apple sort of reevaluating how they're doing things. I think that, you know, for While She Sleeps, we feel like we're in a position where we have a platform to sort of say things that matter and give out strong messages. And I think as a band, we would hate for that platform to go to waste on sort of mindless bullshit. So we try and always put our energy into giving out the real message and sort of breaking down the smoke and mirrors, if you like, and letting people know what's actually going on in our industry. And I think that's sort of crucially important for up and coming musicians. You know, if if the bands that are in a good position now to try and address the problems that they're going through, it means that later on for up and coming artists, they might not have to sort of, they might not sort of have to deal with the certain changes that we are in the music industry now. I'm not saying that these platforms are all sort of bad, but I think that the music industry needs to sort of put its attention on the way things are working and try and figure out a more sustainable route for bands that have demand.
Do you believe that bands now? I think there are a lot of bands that are working like this, like Craftpersons. That's you maybe nearer from your from the listeners and your fans.
Yeah, I think it is definitely the best way to work. The Sleep Society, for example, it's meant that we're able to directly be in contact with the fans that are directly funding this band, and it just means that we have a hub there where we can divert our attention to those people and kind of give them what they deserve, and also it gives us a good platform there to listen to what they want. It's important for us to build that relationship. We've always been a band that sort of prides itself on having a great relationship with our fan base, always being very honest with them about the situations that is going on sort of behind closed doors for While She Sleeps, and I think that's what we're seeing get back from them with the Sleep Society. It's a very positive place. It's a place that feels very unified and has a good sense of community involved in it. And for While She Sleeps, they're the main reasons why we're in this industry and why we're in this band, is because we love the unity of what rock and metal does, and we love the community side of things. So yeah, for us that's crucially important, and the Sleep Society enables us to do that with our core fan base. And that's not to say we don't appreciate anyone across the world that's not involved in the Sleep Society, listening into our music and picking up a copy of our records or whatever. That it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's very much appreciated. But it does let us and allow us to divert our attention to the core fan base there that are paying a bit extra to help sustain this band, and are in it with us just as much as we are. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Great. Let us talk. Let's talk about the two guests.
Yeah.
On this album.
Yeah, basically, we were on tour with Bullet for My Valentine a few years back, and Biffy Clyro and Bullet for My Valentine work with the same lighting guys sometimes. Basically, we got talking to the lighting guy over a few beers, and he kind of said to us, you do realize, Biffy Clyro, big fans of your band. And we were like, wow, that's sick. It's very nice to hear. And, we grew up listening to Biffy Clyro. I think Simon's an amazing frontman and got such a great voice. So it was really nice to hear that he sort of likes our band. So we've just, while we were demoing the track Nervous, we had the idea of, wouldn't it be ace to get sort of Simon's voice on that track? I think, now that it is put together and we've heard how it's come out, I think that it does really work. So I think we were right to pursue that. And he came back and sort of confirmed that he was a fan of the band and that he'd love to be involved with the song. He said he really enjoyed the demo of the song as well. So it was great to work with Simon, knowing that he'd been listening in to the band and what we were up to over the years. And I think the song's great. I really can't wait for people to hear it. For me, Nervous is a unified anthem. I think it's one of those songs that hopefully really going to bring people together in a festival scene. I think that people, especially over this last year, have been through an awful lot. A lot of people have been very isolated. People have been, not as wealthy as they've been in the past. It's been a really tricky year for so many people. I personally lost a close friend of mine to suicide, which was a huge shock for me. And there's been so many of these awful stories about how this whole pandemic has impacted people's lives. For me, Nervous is one of those tunes that makes you feel like you're not alone in that whole sort of feeling. Not to say that it was written around COVID, because, it wasn't, but I think that in this current climate and in this pandemic, I think hopefully people are going to receive this song very well. And I think that it's really going to help a lot of people in a lot of tough times to feel more unified than maybe they do currently. So I'm excited for people to hear that. And like you say, the Simon collaboration there is just, for me, it's worked really well. And I'm stoked for people to hear the song. And a similar situation with Derek Whibley. We, as a band, we all listened to Sum 41 from being young kids. I remember walking in, like literally skateboarding down to my local record store, picking up a copy of the CD before I even knew what it was. And it was All Killer, No Filler. And it was All Killer, No Filler. And I loved that for many years. And for all of us in While She Sleeps, Sum 41 at some point has been a good influence for us. So, you know, it was great to hear that Derek Whibley had heard the band and he'd heard some tracks of ours and was into it. And a similar situation, we extended an ask. We had a rough idea when we were recording No Defeat for the Brave in terms of a demo track. And yeah, it was amazing to hear that he was into the song. It got a bit crazy for a minute because we didn't know if he was actually going to be involved because he was having a newborn child. So at one stage he said, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get involved. And we were like, yo, you know, that's all cool. Just let us know if anything changes. And then soon enough, he came back and was just sort of, you know, I've got a bit of time for this now. I really love the demo track. Shall we work on it together? So that was amazing. And again, like such a sort of a bit of a tick in the box in terms of a bucket list to have Derek from Sum 41 guest on your record. And from what I know, he's not really done that many. I believe he's guested on an Iggy Pop song. And he worked with us on this, but other than that, like I don't know how many more he's done. So it's really special for us. So that's great.
Great. We were talking about the Bring Me the Horizon album last year, and there were several guests, you know. And
yeah.
I think with the COVID situation, you make several guests together. You know, it's maybe more human situation, inviting other artists.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's a cool way for, you know, usually you'd be bumping into these people on the road or maybe, you know, touring together or, you know, just passing other people that you know at festivals and stuff. And artists at the moment don't have that. And I think that's why you're seeing just bands reaching out to other artists and being like, yo, you know, it'd be cool to have you involved if you've got the time. So, yeah, it's cool to see. And it's very interesting to see who comes up with what and who's collabing with who and you know, the interesting sort of scenarios that come out of that and the songs and lyrics that get more interesting. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's really cool to be able to collab with people and it's also really cool to find out that established artists like your band. So it's a fun time for sure.
And it shows that we can't stop creating links, you know, together. We need these to create links to fans or to artists or stuff like this.
Definitely, I think that you know, it's good to show unity, even though we're not all touring and all out there on the road. And I think at this time, people are sort of more grounded and more at home. It's letting people be creative in their own space and allowing them to reach out to people and yeah, you know, it's a cool way to bring people together, even though we're not sort of actually together.
Yeah. In the lyrics, you said somebody told me to change, somebody told me to stay the same.
Yeah. Somebody told me to change.
A cappella song, yeah, wonderful. Did you get into introspection or stuff like this during these Covey Days, or what are the topics about it?
Yeah, I just think that the usual topics on the record for While She Sleeps still stand. You know, we want people to, like I say, like we want people to feel unified and feel like a While She Sleeps show is that place where you can come with like-minded people and have a good time. We cross over a lot of messages. What's really interesting for While She Sleeps is that we try and write in an openly poetic way so that it leaves our lyrics open for interpretation. So what might seem like it's written in one way can be written in another way. I think Dave Grohl said something really interesting once, that was you can sing your lyrics to 80,000 people, but 80,000 people can sing the same lyrics back to you for 80,000 different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, that's what's so special about lyrics, is when it's left open for interpretation, they can mean so much to so many people. And that's what we try and do with our lyric writing, leave it kind of open for interpretation, but also give it some positive direction. And I think that's, you know, what our fans like about the band. We're not, you know, we're not shy to get a bit emotional and wear our hearts on our sleeve, but also we're not scared of being a bit more aggressive and giving it a bit more of a fuck you. So I think with that, especially with the new record Sleep Society, I think there's some, if you're into sort of alternative rock or metal or hardcore punk, I think there's something in there for you, for everybody.
Yeah. And of course we all need, you know, blood, sweat and tears from you on stage, you know.
Definitely.
We need this feeling, you know, we need this live feeling. And
Yeah.
So I suppose you're impatient to play and to play on stage and to see the fans real eyes, you know.
Yeah, there's no better feeling than a live show. At the moment it feels kind of all business and not too much pleasure, you know, not being able to tour at the moment. So yeah, like I say, we're anticipating shows coming back, and like I say, having your song sung back to you and staring down at the mosh pit and everyone sort of trying to get rid of that negative energy in a positive way. Like, there's no better feeling than that. And the sooner that live shows come back, the better, really.
So where will you play as soon as it will be possible? Maybe this year?
As soon as it's possible, we have a tour scheduled for the UK. I think that's going to be, you know, the best option and the safest option for now to play shows. But yeah, as soon as, you know, things open up, we're stoked to play, you know, anywhere. Like, we're stoked to get over to France and play for sure. Wherever, you know, you know, pandemic permitting, we'll play wherever we can, whenever we can. So yeah, just excited to get back on the road. Our initial tour is going to be in the UK. We're excited to get out and play some festivals, you know, like they're the most fun, you know, especially European festivals in the sunshine that we don't get too much of in the UK. Like, it's really great to cross that bit of water. But obviously, of course, when we get rid of the pandemic and we're allowed to tour, we've still got Brexit to kind of deal with. So that's also going to be a huge change for touring artists. And, you know, we're excited to get back out on the road, but it depends how different it's going to be for us as well. Like, I honestly don't think that touring is going to be the same for us after the pandemic and Brexit. There's a lot of changes happening, so we'll just have to see. But, you know, we're stoked to get out there, and I'm sure we will.